Managers of Reddit, what is a Karen experience like? What was your worst experience? I loved Karens when I was managing. Being able to say I am the manager followed soon by sorry, that's company policy always results in a flustered Karen leaving in a huff and a much relieved crew. Work at a vacuum repair shop. People don't pay attention to their vacuum cleaners as much as you think lol. I can't tell you how many times someone comes to pick up their vacuum and says oh this one isn't mine or mine didn't have scratches down the side. I can tell you it is, and it came in with all those scratches on the side. After the first 2 times it happened to me we started taking pictures of the unit with serial numbers and customer info, send them home with the serial number and require them to bring it back for pickup. Despite the evidence, I've had a lady close to tears because we didn't have her vacuum. Even with the pictures we had of it at drop-off, her information, the matching serial numbers. Sure, it's a big conspiracy, we just love taking in vacuums and switching all the information around because it's fun. People need to pay more attention. Bestest of the best interactions I ever had. Karen griped about not wanting to pay the price for the services performed on her computer, which was exactly the price quoted when she dropped it off and which she had signed for. She demanded to speak to the service manager. I called him from the back. Service manager listened to her spiel as to how she should get a lower price because, irrelevant, pea-brained reason. Service manager made eye contact with me over her shoulder. I did not react. He said no, price quoted was the price that would be charged. She said that was unacceptable, and she would be complaining to the owner, who was a good friend. Service manager observed that he was evidently not that good a friend, since that he, me, was the person she was originally speaking with when she asked for the service manager. Her face was glorious, and made the whole thing worthwhile. Happened before I became a manager, but once while I was serving at Steak and Shake, customer had a coupon for a burger, fries and a shake for $X20, can't remember the price anymore. Anyway, on the coupon it specifically stated that cheese on the burger was 39 cents upcharge, although it did have a picture of a burger with cheese on it. Lady threw a fit in the dining room that I was treating her unfairly, it was false advertising, etc etc. I told her I agree it's false advertising with the picture, but the text specifically states the upcharge and unfortunately I can't do anything about it. The lady at the next table overheard everything and literally got up and put 50 cents on the table to cover it and said something to the effect of I'll pay for your damn cheese if you just shut up. This pissed the cheese lady off even more. My manager obviously sensed the issue and came out. Took the cheese upcharge of the bill. Like WTF Karen. Not a manager, but I used to work part-time at a bakery inside of a grocery store. I dealt with my fair share of Karens during this time. Just to paint this picture of how it would work, we had a binder with laminated copies of 100 different designs the decorators did regularly. A customer would look through the book, pick a design they wanted, and fill me in on the details of when they wanted it by, what size, what flavor, if any color changes were necessary, etc. Our decorators would come in at 7 AM and stay for however long it took to complete their orders. So usually, they were gone by early to mid-afternoon. The bakery closed along with the store at 9 PM. One day, maybe around 8:15 or 8:20, a woman comes in and says she needs a cake. I figure she's referring to the cakes sitting in our cooler, which we keep at the ready in case anybody just wants something quick and simple. So I motion to the cooler and ask her if she sees anything she likes. Apparently I'm a goddamn brilliant comedian because she starts laughing, and goes, "No, sweetie, I need a wedding cake." Alright, no big deal. I grab an order form and take down her information, and then ask what day she needs it for. Tonight? Mind you, the store was closing in 40 minutes, so even if I could decorate a cake, I wouldn't be able to help her. I tell her that there's no decorators present at the moment, but I could make sure it was ready for her first thing the next morning. She's clearly upset by this but says that it'd be fine. I continue taking her order and ask her what size she'd like. Our bakery was not an upscale joint, and our prices reflect that just about everything comes in frozen. So for our cakes, they come in a variety of predetermined sizes. She pulls out her phone and thrusts it in my face, saying whatever that is. On the screen is a very beautiful cake. Smooth white frosting, 7 to 8 tiers, decorations made in fondant and blown sugar. Before I even continue taking the order and dash her hopes when she sees the finished product, I tell her that that just wouldn't be possible. I didn't mean to offend our decorators, but I told her the truth. Most of them were exceptionally gifted home bakers who didn't have formal training in terms of a culinary program or decorating school. I then politely refer her to a more upscale bakery that I knew of that's more equipped to help her than we were. Then the dreaded 6 words came. "Can I speak to your manager?" At this point in time, I had been working at that bakery for a little over a year, so I was capable enough to close the department on my own. As such, I was the only one there. I told her this, but offered to leave a note with the customer's name and number so my manager could call her tomorrow. Fine then. Let me talk to a store manager. There were anywhere between 1 to 3 store managers who oversaw the entire grocery store and all its departments on staff a night. So I go to our phone and page a store manager over to the bakery department. The whole time we're waiting, she's staring daggers into me. A manager I was fairly friendly with came to the counter in a few minutes and asked what the problem was. I briefed her before she went to talk to the customer. The second we get over there, the customer starts spewing lies about me. How I was rude and refusing to help her. I tried to defend myself, but the manager just told me to keep doing my closing work out back. 10 minutes later she comes back, shaking her head and rubbing her temples. That bitch was crazy. Customer service industry is a blast. I was the only person on shift, which made me the de facto manager. 5 minutes before closing, a woman comes in and is so angry that we don't have any decaf. She demands to speak to the manager. I tell her that's me because I'm the only one here, and the coffee pots are cleaned for the night because it's 5 minutes to close. No, I'm sorry, I can't make another pot just for her. There's another place around the corner. She screams at me, tells me she's going to find a real manager and get my slutters fired, throws half a cup of cappuccino machine sludge at me, and starts to look like she's gonna jump the counter. I'm holding a hammer under the counter thinking don't do it, don't do it. I pick up the phone like I'm going to call the cops. She leaves. I lock the door. She comes back and runs face first into the glass door. Like a bird. Edit, thanks for the silvers, folks. I'm glad some good could come from this bizarre and stressful AF experience. The staff did not know it at the time, but our ketchup dispenser was empty. A boy, aged 10ish, was just smashing down on the handle trying to get ketchup, but none was being dispensed. A staff member noticed the kid smashing the ketchup dispenser, so I went out to see what was going on. Oh, the ketchup is empty. I'll get a new bag from the kitchen. Give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back with some new ketchup. I remove the empty container, take it back to the kitchen, clean the dispenser and place in a new bag. Take it out to the condiment stand and get met by a Karen. Kay, why did you take the ketchup away from my son? Me, the ketchup was empty, so I replaced the bag. Kay, why did you take the ketchup away? Go get your manager. Me, okay. 1 minute. I walk about 2 meters, turn around, and introduce myself as the manager. Kay, Why did you take the ketchup away from my son? Me, Mom, please lower your voice. The ketchup was empty. I explained to your son that I needed to take it back to the kitchen to refill it. K, no you didn't. I was standing here the whole time. You took the ketchup away from my son. Me, Mom, please lower your voice. You were not with your son. He was here alone, trying to get ketchup, which was empty. K, don't you tell me what to do. Do you know who you're dealing with? Me, nope. Mom, please get your belongings and leave this establishment. Cue the screaming and yelling. K, I will not leave this establishment. I am going to burn this place down. Other patrons are visibly upset with what they're witnessing. Police are called. Karen gives a statement. Police question me, I give a statement. Karen told the police that I struck her son, pushed him out of the way, and moved the ketchup to an area in which her son couldn't get access to the ketchup. I disputed the claim and offered to provide video evidence, with sound, of what actually happened. Police watch the video once, thank me, and walk out to the eating area. Officer, Mom, does your son has someone who can look after him? K, his father is at work right now. Officer, okay. You're being placed under arrest for making threats and a false police report. More yelling, threats, and now tears. In the end, she was charged with making the false police report, but not the threats, and received a lifetime ban from not just our restaurant, but the entire mall our restaurant was located in. I felt kinda bad. Not for the Karen, but for her son. He has to live with that? Oh hell yeah. Buckle up. I worked as a manager at a chain barbecue restaurant, we will call it Popular Charlie's. There was this lady who we called Nacho Lady, I'll get into why. She was that kinda overweight, holistic living, anti-vax, essential oil, military wife, my 2-year-old daughter who I talk to like a coherent adult is going to change the world type lady. With all the Karen aesthetics to match. We all dreaded her when she came in. We call her Nacho Lady because whenever she comes by, she orders our nachos at our takeout area. No big deal. But she would want everything on the side. Which again, no big deal in most situations because I understand that nachos get soggy really, especially to go. But what some people don't like / understand is seeing the actual proportions for everything. 2 ounces of anything really isn't that much. That goes for the cheese, chili, beans, nacho sauce, all the works. Even though it is all proportioned equally, the customer doesn't like what they see, and that's where the backlash happened with Nacho Lady and the Karen moment starts happening. She didn't like the actual proportions and demanded more but refused to pay for it. Our takeout specialists were good at standing up for themselves and the rules. Of course she didn't accept it, so she had to speak to a manager, myself or 2 others depending on the day. She would also order 2 kids' meals, pork sandwiches and fries. Again, no big deal. But she was very particular about this one as well. The pork had to be dry, no barbecue sauce, in a separate container. Kids' buns toasted, which we don't usually do. The fries had to be dropped as soon as she walks in the door so they are crispy and fresh for when she takes them all the way home. Because of her extreme specifications, it got to the point where only a manager was allowed to take her order and only a manager could review the order with her. This was always the most nerve-wracking part because she would sit down at our waiting table in the takeout area, and open every single box and inspect everything. Which we would typically do in the first place, but the way she went about was very Karen. This is when all the issues would happen. Fries were never hot and fresh and crispy enough, sent back to get new ones. Not enough of the portioned pork for the kids' sandwich, demanded more. Not enough cheese sauce and shredded cheese, demanded more. Not enough tortilla chips, you know the rest. The list goes on. And to top it all off, she somehow got a hold of a shit ton of free kids meal coupons that were blank, meaning no manager signature, dates, or any sort of validation that she got it legit. A coupon is no big deal. But a typical coupon can only be used one at a time with one transaction, but a Karen being a Karen, she demanded we use 2 out of giant stacks so she gets her kids' meals for free. This got to the point where things had to be ran by the GM. Even if it means calling him on his day off. He was bit of a bitch and always allowed it, but she started costing us money. It wasn't feasible for her to keep coming back and having her as a customer because 9/5 we would end up having to send stuff back to the kitchen which would get wasted. My other manager, Billy Joe, was a fierce bitch that never let anyone walk over her. She was awesome. She finally stepped up and made a call over the GM's order and 80/60 her. When that moment came, we all huddled in the office and watched the security cameras as Billy Joe ripped her a new one. That was an unforgettable day. I left and got out of the restaurant industry and management because of how toxic that field can be, but I do love that I have a Karen story. Edit, layout.